All right. Hello. I am Brandon and this is Allison, and we are teaming up through intuitive alignment to bring you a wonderful animal communication class. And so I thought it'd be fun to have Allison on today to hear a little bit about her story and a little bit about the class and just connect you all to her. So, my first question is, Allison, how did you get into being an animal communicator? What's your story a little bit? What's your journey been?
Well, I've always been very strongly connected to animals, always saving the lost dog on the street, and I had a pet squirrel my dad gave me from a tree that fell down, and um, just always had a lot of affinity with animals. And animals communicate from their hearts as well as telepathically. And I've always been very clairvoyant and very good at telepathy, as well as by communicating emotionally and from my heart. I pick up things a lot. So when I was a kid, I always knew when the animal needed something or what was going on. I could tell. And I was fortunate that my parents were like, "Oh, the tree is telling you not to cut it down. Okay, we won't cut it down." Like they were really good about stuff like that. Um, so then when I guess I was in my 30s or 40s, I started going to clairvoyant school to learn how to meditate, and I tended to have anxiety attacks and was having a big parenting challenge. And that the teacher was like, "Wow, you're really clairvoyant." So I just got addicted to it, and
Mm,
and it helped me with my anxiety as well. And then animal communications was just one of the classes, and that of course I was drawn to, and so I've been a professional animal communicator ever since, and that was 12 years. So
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you were talking about your telepathic abilities and your abilities to connect with animals, it actually reminds me of how we met and where I was kind of like a wounded little animal. I think what, maybe 16 years old, and you were very in tune with what was going on with me and able to point out stuff that was in my energy field at the time and in a really helpful and concise way. And I was like, oh, there's something to this. I want to study this too. This is great.
I know I was very happy that I could show you the kind of parent that would appreciate your skills instead of be threatened by them.
Yes. Yes. One of my first psychic mamas, if you will. Yeah. Cool. Well, so you sounds like you've been doing this for a long time, both just naturally from being a kid onward, but then also professionally and through training. And so what will the training that you provide in this class look like? What will they cover?
Yeah, I mean, it's a 4-week class, so it's, some basic skills, basic knowledge about what animal communications is all about. Focus on clearing anything from your telepathic channels that says you can't hear and talk to animals, and also anything in just your entire field. I like to ask the animal we're talking with to give us a healing on our ability to communicate with them. And that can be a very profound and miraculous healing for people.
Mm.
And, it's interesting to know with what animals are saying. It's always surprising to me. I've never done a reading where I didn't learn something new, and I've done thousands of readings.
Very cool. I love that. That sounds great. My cat has slowly taught me how to telepathically communicate with her over the years. She just gives me this look when she wants food, and I'm like, okay, I know. She doesn't even have to meow or, wait at the door or anything. It's just boom, right there. That's kind of what that reminded me of.
Yeah.
That's
Looks like you're
great.
putting the picture right in your center of your head.
Uh-huh.
A food bowl.
Yeah. I don't know if you have anything to say about this, but having practiced a little bit of animal communication myself, I find that one of my cats really loves to communicate telepathically. And the other one, it's not that she doesn't send me images or there's not communication, but she just doesn't care. She's a Bengal and she just doesn't care. Whatever I tell her, she's like a little princess and just going to do whatever she wants to anyway. Do you find certain animals in the various animal kingdoms are easier to communicate with? Like, is a lizard easier to communicate with than a chicken? Or what's that like for you?
Certain animals have live with us as humans over our evolution, and of course, dogs are and horses and cats are hugely developed to communicate with us, and they care about uh, about communicating with us. Whereas wild animals don't care about communicating with us. They care about reproduction and survival. And of course, well, they have other higher missions as well, but in terms of the relationship with humans, they don't care to communicate. So a Bengal cat, one of the reasons we like Bengal cats is because they are a little bit wild. And that's what you're seeing. The wildness is, I don't care what humans think. Yeah.
Very cool. That makes sense.
And a
Uh,
soul that chooses a pet Bengal body might want to be moving towards being more domesticated, being closer in that human relationship. Because when all your needs are met as a pet, you can evolve more spiritually.
very cool. Yeah. I hear they just domesticated foxes too, so maybe they're taking a step on their evolutionary path as well.
They're seeing
Uh,
the environment disappear. They're very adaptable.
yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I have just a couple more questions. I'm somebody who's always been really drawn to sort of what they would consider exotic pets. I've just always found something interesting about them. I've had, hedgehogs, snakes, spiders. Ferrets aren't that exotic, but had some of those too. And I think even a couple of my pets have gotten some readings from your students that have taken animal communication classes in the past, and it was very helpful. But I'm curious, are those sort of animals things that you cover in this class, communication with?
Yes, we start with the easy animals, the pets, and then we move to livestock, which is kind of the next layer out. I kind of see it as like layers. The next layer out is livestock. We talk to cows and those and other livestock animals, then wild animals, and then the fourth class is either ocean animals or spirit animals, and that's up to the class. So
Mm,
it just kind of every class it gets a little more challenging in terms of uh, releasing that which keeps you from talking to something that humans have not already been talking to.
mm,
Like it's actually quite easy to talk to a dog with the dog because a lot of us are already talking with dogs, especially if your participants are um, already pretty telepathic.
mhm.
Mm,
Amazing.
mhm.
Yeah. One other question that I've had about this sort of stuff is, you know how they have animal cards, like medicine cards, and different animals will have different energies to them and qualities, and you might pull that card and it's kind of like a message for your day or some medicine to bring into your day. Is there sort of an element in that in animal communication where um, there's a personal growth journey that you're moving through as you're learning to communicate with these different animals and clearing the energy around communication with them?
Yeah, I like to look at it and study the Druid tradition. They believe that nature was our spiritual guides. There wasn't like an overall God necessarily, that there were certain trees and certain animals in charge of certain aspects of life. And my favorite deck is my Druid deck, but that's just my preference. And the same uh I- it's amazing how often I pull a card that's exactly what I needed to hear, and it can be kind of harsh, actually. Like, yeah,
Mm,
you're being unreasonable. Or I'll spend the entire summer and I will always pull the same card.
Mm.
So yes, I do think that there are messages coming from animals. I've seen in my classes that we will talk to, well, for example, this last class I taught was about insects, and we talked to grasshoppers, and everyone in the class talked to a grasshopper, but this one woman got a healing from the grasshopper, and it was a profound, life-changing body uh, healing from a grasshopper.
Wow,
And
that's so
so
cool.
I encouraged her to set up an agreement with that grasshopper that it'd come back when she called it, and having appropriate boundaries with the grasshopper so that she can have it as a guide, because it clearly was a higher being in a grasshopper's body, and it had a lot of affinity with her and knew how to heal her.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Miracles with grasshoppers. How fun.
Yeah, the other profound one was praying mantis, because everybody was, not everybody, maybe the majority of the class was like, I don't like praying mantises. I don't like praying mantises. I'm scared of them, whatever. But the praying mantis that came was like the nicest praying mantis, and like everybody got a big healing on their fear. And
Mm.
you get a healing on fear for one thing. It of course helps you fear for other things too. It's kind of whatever that box of fear you're living in is kind of alleviated. And so they were all like, wow, I feel so much lighter after getting a healing from a praying mantis.
Wow, that's so funny and cool at the same time. It sounds like multifaceted ways, opportunities for growth within this class, things you might not totally expect that get to come out to the surface as you're working through these spirit guides really in these different
Yeah.
animal
Well,
kingdoms.
and with
That's cool.
domesticated animals, because we have clairvoyant training, we can use our skills to look at shared past lives, things like that, that explain behavior and health problems. And that can lead to a lot of understanding on about yourself. Oh, I was a warrior with this dog. That's why it's aggressive to other people, and then looking at yourself about how you act as a warrior around other people, and how that can be a trigger for that is triggering the dog to then respond that way,
Mm.
because you've had shared past lives of being a warrior with this dog, as a horse, as a hawk, as a whatever it was in that warrior lifetime.
Oh, so cool. Yeah, I love that angle on it. Your stories, it kind of reminds me, I had a friend growing up who I believe had a car accident and had somewhat of a traumatic brain injury, and he was living in the children's hospital. And I don't remember the exact details, but he was listening to dolphins sounds through headphones. He might have had live interaction with them too. I'm not entirely sure, but he said that listening to those dolphin sounds and feeling their energy was a big part of what helped him to heal his brain. And I was thinking about that the other day when I was giving somebody a healing who is in sort of a war zone area. There's a lot that's going on in their life, big transformation. And these dolphins just came in spontaneously into the healing and they started swimming around this person and kind of like singing their songs and doing very specific things for healing. And it was just this really miraculous transformation. They came into the call really like closed down, just in a ton of fear, total fight and flight. And then as they were leaving the call, they were like connected to the oneness of spirit. They were in all this sort of love and light and just total 180 shift. And so I was like, oh wow, okay, there's something here with this animal healing. That's really beautiful to see.
Well, and in real life, in the physical world, dolphins will do that. Even for
Hmm.
other species, they'll come and prop the animal up so it can breathe, um, while it recovers, and or they'll move it to the shore. They'll,
Wow.
I mean, these are higher beings, more developed. They're predators as well as they're social. They have very sophisticated structures. It's one of the reasons we like dolphins so much, because they're very similar to humans.
Hmm. I love that. Yeah, I'm taking my son Noah to see whales and dolphins off the coast of Panama next month. So it'll be fun to see if they communicate with us from their bodies while we're there. But I just had one last question. So it sounds like this class is best suited for people that have at least some intuitive or clairvoyant training. Would you say that maybe about 15 weeks worth of training where they've learned how to meditate, to run energy, to read, would that be about adequate to take this class?
Well, I think it's kind of like skiing where it's just fun to go down the hill, even if you fall the whole time. It's still fun. You still get something out of it, even if you know how to go up and, off a helicopter and do it the whole shebang. But you do kind of need the ability to ground and to clear your energy and make separations because animals won't communicate with you if they feel threatened. We are a very high predator. And one
Mm,
of the reasons that animals don't talk to us, especially wild animals or animals that are highly prey animals like hooved animals, they don't talk to us because they don't that because we are ungrounded and we can an ungrounded predator is very threatening.
mm.
So even if you have just basic tools and you're good at practicing them. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Great. And this class is going to take place, what did we say, the first Tuesday of August, I believe it was.
Or we
Uh,
Yeah.
for 4 weeks. And so if anyone's, watching this video and excited about this class, but you don't have clairvoyant or intuitive training yet, you can get the pre-recorded version off my website. It's about half off right now, and you can go through some of those classes. Between now and then, you have about a month to move through some of those classes in preparation if you want. And then everyone who has had training, this is obviously a great opportunity for you too. So feel free to join. And yeah, I think that's it.
It's a very discussion-based class, so you learn from your fellow students. So if you don't feel your skills are necessarily going to be the highest in the class, that's okay. You'll still hear what other people see, and you may surprise yourself at how your natural abilities.
Mm, that's very fun.
And
I love
healing
it.
from a grasshopper.
Yeah. Miracles for everyone.
Yeah.
Uh, cool. Awesome.